When you finally stop playing their game, the narcissist's entire world shifts. For a long time, they relied on your empathy, your patience, and your willingness to believe their lies. You were their mirror, reflecting back the perfect version of themselves they desperately needed the world to see. But the moment you start asking the hard questions, or worse, when you simply stop reacting to their drama, that mirror shatters. They realize the dynamic is dead. They can no longer trigger your guilt, and they can no longer push your buttons to get the emotional reaction they crave. You have effectively pulled the plug on their power source, and for them, this is a crisis of identity. Once the realization hits them that you are no longer a puppet, your status changes in their mind from useful to dangerous. They don't just see you as someone who moved on, they see you as a walking, talking threat to their survival. You are now a witness who knows where all the bodies are buried. You've seen behind the curtain, and you know the nice persona is just a costume. Because their entire existence is built on a foundation of lies and a desperate need to feel superior, having someone around who knows the truth is terrifying. They cannot afford to let you walk away with the power, because if you can see through them, maybe others can too. This is exactly why they don't just pack their bags and vanish into the sunset. A narcissist's ego is incredibly fragile, and when it's bruised, their first instinct is to lash out. They become pathologically spiteful because they feel entitled to your attention, and when you withhold it, they take it as a personal attack. They view your independence as a betrayal of the quote-unquote contract they thought you had. Instead of reflecting on why you left, they focus entirely on damage control. They start calculating how to neutralize you, how to rewrite the history of your relationship, and how to make sure that if you are going to leave, you leave feeling broken or discredited. This phase is where they go into overdrive to protect their false image at any cost. They aren't looking to have a rational conversation or reach a healthy closure. They are looking to win a war that you didn't even realize you were fighting. They will start monitoring your movements, replaying your conversations to look for ammunition, and scouting for ways to regain control over the narrative. It's not about you anymore. It's about their desperate, obsessive need to keep the spotlight on their version of reality. They are now in full defensive mode, and they will use every manipulation trick in their playbook to ensure that their mask stays firmly in place, even if it means tearing your life apart in the process. The smear campaign is perhaps the most brutal weapon in the narcissist arsenal because it's a calculated, silent assassination of your character. Once they realize they can no longer manipulate you face-to-face, they pivot their strategy toward the people you care about most. They know that if they can't control your mind, they will try to control the environment around you. This isn't a simple case of gossiping. It is a systematic, orchestrated effort to rewrite history. They will approach your friends, your family, or your coworkers with a version of the truth that paints you as the problem. They masterfully position themselves as the aggrieved victim or the concerned friend, using just enough truth to make their lies believable while omitting every single thing they did to hurt you. The genius and the cruelty of this tactic is its timing. They often start the smear campaign before you even realize what is happening. They are busy planting seeds of doubt in other people's minds, dropping subtle, carefully crafted comments about your erratic behavior, your insecurity, or your inability to handle reality. By the time you start noticing something is off, the people around you have already been poisoned by the narrative. You might feel a sudden, unexplained coldness from friends, or notice that people are treating you with pity or suspicion. It is incredibly isolating, and that is exactly the point. They want you to feel alone, misunderstood, and backed into a corner so that you lose the confidence to speak your truth. They also rely heavily on projection during this stage. They will take their own toxic traits, their lies, their anger, their tendency to manipulate, and they will project them onto you. If they were the one cheating, they'll tell everyone you were the jealous one who wouldn't let them breathe. If they were the one stealing or being financially abusive, they'll spin a story about how you were the one who couldn't manage money. By painting you as the villain first, they essentially inoculate themselves against your potential future warnings. If you ever try to explain to someone what this person really is, that person will simply think you are bitter, crazy, or trying to cover up your own mistakes. You are essentially fighting against a ghost because they have already set the stage so that your defense looks like an attack. The ultimate goal of this devaluing process is total isolation. The narcissist knows that as long as you have a strong support system, you have reality checkers. You have people who know your character and who can remind you that you aren't the person the narcissist is claiming you to be. By turning those people against you, or creating enough tension that those relationships break, the narcissist removes your safety net. They want to leave you with nowhere to turn and no one to believe you. It is a terrifyingly effective way for them to maintain the perfect mask they wear in public. As long as they have successfully framed you as the unstable one, their own mask remains pristine, and they can continue to move through their social circles completely unscathed, while you are left to pick up the pieces of your reputation. When the narcissist can no longer dictate your emotions, they shift gears into a relentless, high-stakes competition where they are the only judge. It is important to realize that this isn't about them actually improving their life. It is about them obsessively tracking yours. They become like a shadow athlete, constantly checking your progress, your social media, and your life milestones, just to find a way to one-up you. If you get a promotion, they'll suddenly brag about a new, vague business venture. If you buy a new house, they will post photos of themselves touring luxury properties they have no intention of buying. Every move you make triggers an immediate, performative reaction from them. They are terrified that if they aren't ahead, you might realize they were never the winner in the first place. This competitive streak is driven by a deep, hollow insecurity that they cannot fix from the inside, so they try to fix it with external validation. They view life as a zero-sum game, which means that for them to feel up, you must be pushed down. They will go to extreme, illogical lengths to manufacture a facade of superiority. This often includes going into significant debt just to project an image of wealth, luxury, or status. They will buy the flashier car, wear the expensive brands, and associate with people they think make them look important, all while secretly struggling to keep their head above water. They are building a house of cards, and they know the wind is always blowing. They just hope you'll be too distracted by the shiny exterior to notice the foundation is crumbling. The most exhausting part of this game is that it is entirely one-sided. You are just living your life, focusing on your own growth and happiness, while they are losing sleep trying to find ways to dim your light. They want you to look at their curated, filtered, and often fake version of success and feel a pang of inadequacy. They want you to wonder, how are they doing so well? Or, why does their life seem so much more exciting than mine? That feeling of doubt is exactly what they are fishing for. By making you feel like you are falling behind, they try to regain that sense of power and control they lost when you saw through them. They are essentially baiting you to re-engage with them, hoping that if they can get you to compete back, they can pull you back into their messy, manipulative orbit. Ultimately, you have to remember that this radical competition is just another form of lying. When you see them flaunting their new partner, their upgraded career, or their constant vacations, do not mistake it for genuine joy. It is a desperate, frantic performance. They are performing for an audience of one, you. They are trying to convince themselves that they are winning because deep down they are petrified that you've already figured out the truth. The irony is that while they are busy trying to outshine you, they are missing out on an actual life. While you are busy building genuine success, they are busy building a mirror for you to look into. Never let their fake highlights reel make you feel less than. Their success is just a prop, and their competition is just proof that you are winning the only game that actually matters, the game of freedom. The calculated exit is the final defensive maneuver of a narcissist who realizes the jig is up. When you become too wise to their patterns, you cease to be a narcissistic supply and become a liability. Think of it like a con artist who realizes the person they are trying to scam has memorized the trick. They no longer feel safe working that room. They understand that as long as you are near, you are a walking, breathing risk of exposure. Your very presence and the calm, knowing way you look at them makes them feel naked and vulnerable. They know they can't gaslight you, they can't bully you into submission, and they certainly can't keep their mask from slipping under your scrutiny. So instead of staying and risk being fully unmasked in front of everyone, they make the strategic decision to pull the plug themselves. This discard is not a sign of them moving on to greener pastures or finding a better person. It is a retreat to safety. They are fundamentally uncomfortable in the presence of someone who has mastered their game. To a narcissist, your awareness is like a bright, harsh light in a room they have spent years keeping dim. They cannot stand the heat of being truly seen for who they are, a collection of insecurities and manipulative tactics. When they leave, they are doing it to protect their fragile, false self from the truth you represent. It is the ultimate act of cowardice, masked as them choosing to walk away from you. They need an environment where they can operate without resistance, and you are no longer that environment. When they leave, they do it with a specific intent, to go find easier targets. They are actively hunting for people who haven't yet learned their red flags or identified their patterns. They need a new audience that will buy their act, applaud their lies, and provide them with the validation they are starving for. By moving on, they are simply resetting the stage. They are looking for someone who is still willing to play the part of the victim or the supporter so that they can feel powerful again. It is not about you, and it is certainly not because you weren't enough. It is because you were too much, too smart, too perceptive, and too strong for their small, hollow world. Don't let the discard hurt your pride. View it for exactly what it is, your victory. When they walk away, they are effectively admitting that they have lost the battle for your soul. They are choosing to flee because they know they have zero chance of winning against someone who is truly awake. While they move on to deceive someone else, you have been handed the most precious gift of all, silence and freedom. You are no longer under their microscope, no longer subject to their emotional volatile weather, and no longer playing the part in their twisted play. Let them go. Let them scurry off to find another person to trick, because every day they spend away from you is a day you get to reclaim your life, your energy, and your own authentic story. The fact that they left is the ultimate proof that you were the one who held the power all along. The bottom line is simple. To a narcissist, life is a constant, desperate battle for control. They do not view human beings as partners, friends, or family. They view them as assets to be managed or obstacles to be cleared. When you finally stop playing their game, you aren't just ending a disagreement, you are destroying their primary source of validation. Because their entire sense of self is propped up by their ability to manipulate your emotions and dictate your reactions. Your refusal to play along is an existential threat to them. They cannot simply get over it or move on in peace because they view your independence as a theft. They feel entitled to your energy, your attention, and your compliance. And when you take those things back, they feel personally robbed. Because they are fundamentally incapable of self-reflection, they will never look at your departure and think, I should have treated them better. Instead, they think, I need to make them pay for denying me what I am owed. This is why they so often try to leave you wounded on their way out. They want to ensure that even if they can no longer control you, they can leave a mark that makes you doubt your worth or fear your future. They want to leave you questioning your sanity, your reputation, or your confidence, because a wounded person is easier to keep an eye on than a healed, thriving one. They are trying to brand you with their toxicity so that even from a distance, you are still carrying the weight of their influence. It is absolutely vital that you never, under any circumstances, mistake their silence for a change of heart or a lesson learned. When a narcissist goes quiet, whether they are ignoring your messages or physically leaving your life, they are not having a moment of remorse. They are performing a strategic retreat. They are regrouping, licking their wounds, and scanning the horizon for new ways to get under your skin or new targets to exploit. Silence is not an apology. In their world, silence is a weapon. It is meant to make you wonder what they are doing, to make you reach out to break the tension, or to make you fear the next blow. Do not fall into the trap of thinking they have finally grown up. They have only changed their strategy to be more effective. Ultimately, protecting your peace is your only true priority. This means you must keep your boundaries like iron gates that never swing open, no matter how much they knock. Stop looking back at their life, their fake successes, or their smear campaigns, because looking back only gives them the space to remain in your head. When you stop engaging, you take away their remaining oxygen. You must accept that you will never get the closure or the apology you deserve because they are fundamentally incapable of offering it. By refusing to give them a second chance, even a small one like checking their social media or answering a just checking in text, you are finalizing your victory. You are choosing your own healing over their hollow need for power, and in doing so, you are finally truly free.